Hey, kom weer, Tife. Kom in.
Football is more than a game where you score a goal and win a match. It's a game of two halves that brings communities together and is also a language without even speaking a word. But football isn't so great for those referees that are on the pitch week in, week out. In recent research, it was found that 93.7% of referees in football were abused verbally on the pitch. This is a shocking stat, as football alone is 40% higher than any other sport in terms of abuse. In 2008, the FA reported that 0.01% of physical abuse happened to referees in 1 year. This may seem a little number, but this equates to 2 incidents a week. The first referee we will speak to is Liam, a young referee from the Northwest who has ambitions of reaching the heights of the Premier League.
Liam Bowden, Liverpool County FA Level 6 referee. Started refereeing in 2014. It was me and my mate decided to take the basic referee course, and it's gone on from there really with progression. I enjoy refereeing. It does come with challenges. Every game's a different challenge, dealing with different people, but I do enjoy it, and it is something I'm very interested in. I've experienced abuse a few times from being a referee. First one was giving out. It was a big tackle, to be honest. Last few minutes of the game, big tackle comes in. Questionable red card. I give a yellow card, but I was surrounded by players, and when I gave the card, I was asked why it was a yellow. I explained the decision and the abuse that I got back from the players. It wasn't what you'd expect from players who supposedly are meant to support the officials in every decision that you make. The captain was probably the worst one as well. That was one. The next one was from a parent. When I first started refereeing, it was probably my 5th game in, only my 5th game, and I give a decision in a cup final, believe it or not. I got given a cup final, and it was a penalty kick. It was only under 12s, and the parent, because it was against their son, decided that it was the completely wrong decision. Started to walk onto the pitch and approach me in not an aggressive manner, but it wasn't the best of manners. And obviously that's a different way of dealing with it, and I was only being young. I didn't know how to deal with that, but if that happened to me now, I definitely know how to deal with it in a better way. But it does make me slightly concerned for the younger referees that are coming through, that you won't be able to deal with something like that. I've always wanted to carry on. I've never felt like I want to give up and I don't want to do it anymore, because I take the abuse as in that it's going to happen and that's it, get on with it. I know a lot of referees that have given up because of the abuse, and it isn't, they shouldn't have to do that. But with myself, no, I've never thought that I should give up. You take it on the chin and you get on with it. You know what you're coming in for.
Liam's outlook on abuse towards referees is one that we should all be ashamed of. Liam believes that it's all becoming part of the game and we should all learn to get on with it. But when did this become normal, that young referees take it upon themselves to get used to abuse, and it's just going to happen? The next referee we will speak to is Suzanne. Suzanne is a victim of sexism in football. In recent figures shown, 2/3 of women go through sexism and bullying in football. But it's estimated that only 12% of these are actually reported.
So my name is Suzanne Monaghan and my parent county is the Manchester FA. I sort of fell into refereeing, to be honest with you. I don't actually come from a football background. My dad got an email through about a female referees course, and he just said, would you be up for it? I mean, at first I just sort of laughed because I didn't know anything about football, didn't take it seriously, didn't watch it, didn't play it, and he said it'll be good for you. And there's a huge shortage of referees, in particular female referees as well. It can be a mixture of emotions at a time. So you can have the thrill and adrenaline of a really good game, and then sometimes you know when you've had a bad game where you've got a decision wrong and it constantly plays on your mind. But all in all, for me, I love it. And I wish I'd got into it sooner. You're getting more women involved in football. You've got more girls' football teams. You've got people that are willing to actually invest in those teams. But there are some setbacks that do need to be addressed. In my first season when I qualified, I had to abandon a game. It was under 16s boys. They was just questioning every decision that I made, accusing me of being biased. And when I did end up abandoning the game through to the abuse from the coaches and the players, I was threatened at the pitch side. I was told to get back on the effing football pitch and finish the effing game. I was told this is why women shouldn't be refereeing football, women shouldn't be involved in football. And it just sort of escalated from there, really. I did actually fear for my safety at the time. God, the worst abuse I've been given would have probably have been, this is why women shouldn't be refereeing in football, because that's a very sexist comment to make. We're in the 21st century now. Women can play football, women can referee football. I mean, you're always going to have the skeptics, the old school people that believe that women shouldn't actually be in football. But, I mean, to be fair, we can referee a game just as well as any other man can. So, it's all about being gender neutral, not, being sexist. Yeah. The one I mentioned where I was threatened, that almost broke me. I took 3 months out refereeing after that, and I debated whether or not it was something that I actually wanted to do moving forward, because being a mum and a wife at the time, I was actually taking my time out the weekends to go and referee a football game just so that these players could play. And I just thought, can I really sort of take this abuse for something that I do in my spare time? But luckily enough, thanks to my parent county, I bounced back because I got all the support and help that I needed. And without a referee, you've not got a football game.
Football is a sport that is for anyone, regardless of their age, gender or race. The final referee we will speak to is Idris. Idris is one of the many referees that is the victim of racist abuse while officiating the games. Football has a massive problem with racism that needs to be addressed. The charity Kick It Out, that helps to deal with racism and discrimination in football, has found that racism now is worse than 5 years ago.
Okay, so my name's Idris Asgar. The county I've refereed is West Yorkshire. I mean, it's difficult being a referee, being an ethnic minority as well. Refereeing West Yorkshire is really difficult. I'd say it's more like obviously bad days and good, due to like obviously abuse, neglection, racism. Key three things, I think, for myself. Signed up for being a referee. Saying it's going to be a nice time, saying that, all the great things about, the game and stuff like that. Having been a big supporter of the game myself. Before abuse came in, it was amazing. I loved it. Every day was amazing. Fans were like, obviously, respecting you, like in the sense that, got a new referee, check him out, type of thing, it's all good. And like, everything about, like what referees like obviously the way you obviously referee games, the way, like, say for example, obviously, you look at players, the way you like obviously cater, for different teams. It was great. It was obviously what it said on the package, to be honest, that you're going to have a good time, and you're going to be able to obviously referee a game and show your way forward. I think it's always been there, but I think with more things that have been happening in the world, shall I say, for example, we talk about like terrorism, we talk about like say other terms like COVID, vaccine-19. So everybody's targeting ethnic minorities, for so many different reasons. So I feel like as myself, being a Muslim, that is my faith. I still follow Islam. I feel, people point the fingers for no apparent reason. Bearing in mind, the term terrorist is anybody who commits crime. Any type of arsonist is labelled as a terrorist, not just an individual like a Muslim, so which people obviously go off. So yeah, football has changed a lot. Yeah. Being being able to referee, it's been really, really severely bad, where you've got like obviously fans throwing and stuff at you, like say for example like cans, alcohol, spitting at you when you're obviously coming through the tunnel. It brings me back to a time when I was young, where I was the only Asian person in the class, and I got badly racially abused. So it makes me feel emotionally upset. I'd say the worst abuse I got is getting told to go back to your own country. Yeah, that, and then I think I was being spun. Yeah, so I have been, obviously I want to be obviously referee itself, I have been physically smacked, which has been obviously very painful, in the sense like, say for example like, because you get smacked for nothing just due to ethnicity, due to colour. So yeah, I have. There isn't really, to be honest. The only way I go about doing it is I report it to the local police. So say for example like, you go to the intelligence unit, people obviously deal with obviously racism. That's how I do it, because in the refereeing there's nothing, you don't have any powers to be able to do anything, so you have to leave it in, like, in the police's hand, to be honest, because it's complicated, because it's not really like obviously looked up on as strong, is a good word to use, to be honest, because I think before in the past it was a bit like, it was brushed under the carpet, and then now it's more like people are seeing it, and then people are saying something about it instead of going along with it, So yeah, I think it's really difficult. It just needs to be made obviously a lot more simple. I feel like I don't have the love I did for the sport, just playing football. And then also like obviously refereeing it, I don't want to be part of it until it changes. Until, say for example, everybody's accepted.
Football is about respect, and a game of two halves where 11 versus 11 play. This beautiful game does not need to be destroyed by discrimination and abuse.